They say it's your birthday. Da-na-na-na-na-na. It's my birthday too. Da-na-na-na-na. Sorry. I'm not sorry. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. Welcome to my channel. Good God, he's decided to now steam my coffee. So we've had quite a few things happen. We've had that eclipse go on. We've had the wolf moon, which is right outside my window right now. I pulled up the shades and I was like, oh, look at the moon. It's big. I have a really off sense of humor. Thank you, Daddy. So definitely don't mind me. So basically, I was up till what time last night trying to sleep. I could not sleep. When I finally fell asleep, I have been awake for some time now. This energy has lost its CACA-ass mind. How are you guys faring with this energy? Is everybody, Lynn is on the same tip as I am. She's like, wake up with extra exclamation points. Girl, let's save some of that punctuation mark for the inner city kids who are working on their phonics and syntax and grammar. Whew. There's a lot of energy wafting around. I don't even know what this reading is going to be about, but I know, see, it's the coffee. Yeah. You might have like a piece of rice stuck in your keyboard. I once had a piece of uncooked rice stuck in my keyboard, and so whenever I press it once, it would do 3 times. Oh, are there many miracles happening? Oh, What brain? What brain, girl? What brain? Have you been restless? I've been super restless. I don't know what this is about. I do feel like there's a lot of energetic shifting going on. I feel like the things that we really not want to address. Oh, see, I was just saucing all the cards. Let's see, like what's come out. Yeah, this is what it's feeling like. This is exactly what it's feeling like. Okay, here it is. Here it is. So all of the shadow aspects that were at much deeper levels than the ones that we were working on up till this point are being agitated and brought to the surface. That red sphere right there kind of reminds me of Mars energy. And so, yes, exactly. Crazy shit. Phonetically speaking. It is crazy shit. This tells me a lot of people are having really agitated sort of attitudes. It's an attitude. It's a whole mood. This eclipse lunar stuff, it's a whole mood, you guys. It's a whole sort of mood. And that's kind of what's going on. Some of us are possibly preparing to run towards the finish line of whatever we think we're doing right now. Others of us, this could mean you're trying to run away from something. Running away from something is one thing. Running away from yourself and your issues is pointless. No matter where you run to, no matter how fast you run, those issues are following you. I don't know if y'all know that, but that's how that works. So here it is, again, tapping into that shadow aspect, allowing the gifts that are hidden in the shadow to be delivered to your lighter aspects, to be something that you allow to rise up. A lot of us are very much afraid of what is in our shadow, afraid to recognize the things that we think people will basically condemn us for. But I'm learning that these fears we think we have that are allegedly rooted in that belief, that what I just talked about, it's really not a fear of that. It's more of a fear of succeeding. It's a fear of succeeding, which brings me to a remembrance. I finally made my workshop available publicly. It's on my website, emmieevolving.com. If you are ready to invest in yourself and really launch your own soul-based business, just like how I did, this workshop is going to help you overcome these fears, because that's a part of my process. That was definitely a part of my process, overcoming the fears of my own greatness and my own success. The way I used to try and shrink myself, well, I still do that. I'm working on it. It's a process. But yeah, if that's something, I know there were quite a few people that had been messaging. That's available on the website now. But here you go. So these are your lighter aspects. Your personal power, your ability to communicate, your ability to allow yourself to continue rising, mixed in with the shadow aspects, the parts of you that you have shunned. I mean, look at that face. You see what I'm saying? That's your unedited truth. It's its own little critter. That's your unedited truth. Here's the aspect of you that plays along with what society says you should and shouldn't do. And this is the side of you that's in the shadows. That's like, fuck your box. Have you ever tried to put a monitor lizard in a box? Good luck with that. Kimono dragon. Good luck with that. And here's the thing. Bringing up those types of, are they considered reptiles? Are lizards reptiles? I don't know. Possibly. That tangent is done, girl. Reel it back in. Their saliva is venomous. Okay. Their saliva is venomous. And this is really like, you have to be careful of how you tap into this. Now, sometimes it's appropriate, sometimes it's not. So you have to find the balance between the two. You can't be all one and not the other. You have to find the balance between the two, because you're not here as a doormat either. All right. You don't have to fight every single battle. And with this Mars inspired energy, you're going to be tempted to. You overachiever, you're not supposed to do that anymore. All right. You have to pick and choose what battles you're going to show up to. There's this meme. It's freaking hilarious. It was like something like, be a badass, pick which battles you're gonna pick. And then it was like ... too many, put some back. Yeah, exactly. Too many, put some back. Put some of those battles back. You don't have to fight all of them. Now, if you find yourself fighting all of them, ooh, look at that. 100%, 734, 52, 6. So 7776. Ooh, at 8:38. 8 minutes, 38 seconds. Look at this. Oh, see. He's mad at me. Yeah, he's mad at me. He took off. So you have to make sure, temper that with grace, okay? Grace is not about being a doormat. Grace is knowing the difference when to respond, when to react, and the manner in which to do both. So here you go. There you go. There is going to be a lot of verbal exchanges, okay? So that, I think that's what we're being prepared for. I really feel like that's what we're being prepared for. We're being prepared for making sure, we're being prepared to make sure we don't fall down our own rabbit hole. All right. You're being asked to choose to walk down the path, because this can be a pathway, you know? It can definitely be a spiral staircase going down deeper into your truths, into your shadows. Or you can have your soul drop kick you in it. I promise you that's not as fun. It's definitely not fun. It's not fun to be drop kicked down your own rabbit hole. So the things that you say, be mindful of it. Yes, I hear you, soul. Hello? Yes? Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and filter all the shit that comes out of our mouth this week. That's what's going to happen. I think it applies for this week in particular. Probably should apply that for the rest of your life. But this week in particular, make sure your filter is turned on. I don't have a filter. Oh, shit. The realization just dawned on me. I don't have a filter. What the hell am I supposed to do then? It just comes out. I don't have a filter. Do I need a filter? Maybe this is a recognition that some of us exist without a filter for a reason, because we are triggering thought processes for other people. Maybe I'm just really good at making excuses for myself. Who knows? See, I hold myself accountable for my own BS. Let me mute that. Let me get the other cards. My Virgo self, I couldn't do box after box, okay? It was just too much for me. So this is self-contained. So what are we going to pick? Let's do some of this. Let's do some of this. Let's do some of this. We'll do some of this. We'll do some of this too. I'm all about containment. I don't know if you guys realize that. Assessing collateral damage, containment. Okay. Oh, these are just the ones that I use regularly. I told you guys I'm some sort of hoarder. Okay, it's just something that okay. Ooh. We need one more card. Make it a good one. Make it a good one. Make it a good one. All right. Oh, one more card. Make it good. Oh, we got two. Here we go. You guys, I feel like we're about to play facilitators. See. Too high. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let me, actually, I need to hurry up because I have a session. See, I don't know if I came live because the message needed to come right now or because it's an avoidance of work that I need to do. Oh, that's perfect. I think 4 is a magic number right now. 4 is a magic number right now. Let's see. Do I need this deck? Oh, I do. I get it. We're going to go through this fairly quickly, okay, guys? Once I get myself... Why are you upside down? There you go. One more time. All right. That deck is done. It's a lot of cards. Oh my God. Hold on. There you go. I just stop, girls. Stop. We're almost done, okay? I promise. There's 2 more decks left. I hate when it does that. So here I'm seeing quite a bit of shifting, quite a bit of refocusing, recognition. Out there. Ooh. Well, that's just that's just too much. Everything fell. All right. There we go. That woke me up. I'm shuffling very messily. God. Why do I listen? I should never listen. I don't ever listen. It's good to listen sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes, but not all the time. So let's go ahead. Okay. Oh, good. Good. Okay. Okay. I knew I should have switched it out. I knew I should have stopped. Okay. I ain't even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there. So, okay, let's do this way. See, now I upset my big girl. She's all crying. She's like, my mama's upset. So, okay, chubby dubbies. So, let's look at this foolery right here. Pull up my pants. Okay. So, hey, Daddy. Big girl's crying. She's crying. Chubbies. She heard me. I baby talk her all the time. So now whenever she hears me, she's like, I don't know if you guys can hear it. That's what she sounds like. Okay. Card number 21, beyond the mind, the heart beats. We are going through a process right now that is causing us to need to close our eyes to the distraction, to examine the root of the words we are saying. Because let's remember, there is that very agitating type of frequency, okay? It's a disharmonic frequency that's being injected into everyone's field. We are being bathed in it. A lot of people have a lot of things to say, and a lot of these things have been stuffed down for quite some time. And so with the energies that are wafting around, the inhibition is being dissolved. That's a part of what's going on. Our inhibition is being dissolved as we're being removed from this program. Our participation in it, meaning the muzzles that we've been forced to wear, are being taken off. So kind of just make sure you are not perpetuating something that is toxic, okay? If you have to speak on something, first examine why and what you have to actually say. Okay, we're not just going to be running off at the mouth and like, I am speaking my truth. I'm just going to run off at the mouth. Like, what is your truth? Verbal diarrhea? Or is there actually a point to it? You know, and sometimes it's just the verbal diarrhea. You know, I'm not immune to that. But the thing that's important here is for you to recognize exactly what it is. If it's verbal diarrhea, admit that shit to yourself and correct it. Get some spiritual toilet paper and wipe it. I'm just saying, okay? If you think you are immune to this, you're full of it. You've also lost your CACA ass mind. I say that in the most loving, spiritually elevated way. So we're all going on an adventure. See that magic carpet ride? Ooh, shit. I stand corrected. Because I was like, we're all going on an adventure, see that magic carpet ride? And I was like thinking Disney and Aladdin. And then I hear Mikey, are you sure about that? Because his ass can never tell me anything straight. And immediately, oh, my higher self was like, baby girl, they're pulling the rug out from underneath you. Don't be telling me that kind of shit. It makes me shut down. It makes me personally shut down. I listen, okay? Not very well, but I'm working on it. Don't be pulling shit out from under me. Card number 52, void of course, moon missing, shit's being hidden. Things are being hidden. Ooh, oh, this is making me nervous. Voids are not something that creation likes. Whenever a void exists, it gets filled. Oh God. So many of us are being emptied right now. A part of the agitation process is to shake up and loosen the things that have compacted. And it's much easier to drain something if the silt, the things that settle to the bottom, is reintegrated with the water. So energy is like hydroplasma. All of our blockages, the things we refuse to let go of, acts as like the particulates, and when it settles, it can have a tendency to get compacted, and so that's why the agitation energies are being run through, so that we can be more efficiently drained. Ooh, what do I? Card number 19, shift your energy. This is all about speaking what you want into being. Okay, this is all about that. This is about recognizing we're all in a process of finding something that we believe we've lost, maybe an aspect of ourselves, maybe another person, but we all are experiencing some sort of loss, a sense of loss, and we're looking for it. Well, here's the thing. Did we actually lose anything? Because she got quite a few things on her back. Or is it something that you've just put behind you, something that you've misplaced? So again, creation does not like voids to continue to exist, so it fills it with something. Card number 50, reverence. This is about recognizing that which is divine within your journey, within yourself. This is about appreciating yourself, your process, all of that. So next, can you hear me? This is your higher self talking to you. You're getting messages. You're definitely being spoken to by your higher self. Many of us don't hear it. Many of us just don't hear it. Okay, we don't hear it. We choose not to. Look at how she has the horn at her side. Instead of putting it to her ear and like, hello, who do you want to talk to? She has it at her side. And soul is no longer going to be ignored. Soul is no longer going to be allowing you to be complicit in your own demise. Now, push these forward. Let's go ahead. So, you're going to need to hold it together. Card number 14, going beyond normal. What do buttons do? They hold things together. So this is about holding things together on so many different levels. Now, there's that saying, a penny for your thoughts. When you have so many pennies, look at where most of the pennies are. They're at the lower levels. Okay, those lower levels that are resting on her shoulders. Sometimes when you share your thoughts, just like verbal diarrhea, it doesn't help your cause. It doesn't help your growth. Sometimes it's those thoughts that are weighing most heavily on your shoulders. So instead, focus on giving yourself time to observe where those thoughts are rooted, why you're thinking those thoughts, what those thoughts are trying to bring your attention to, instead of just letting the mind continue to ramble on. You have to begin directing it, instructing it, because the human mind is very much like a toddler. When you compare it to the ability and capability of soul, the human mind is absolutely in a toddler phase of development. So toddlers, sometimes when they're exhausted, when they're overloaded, overstimulated, which our human minds often are, okay? Our human minds are often overloaded, overstimulated, undernurtured. It's just going to keep going. It's like when the toddler is extremely tired and needs a nap and doesn't understand how to verbalize, how to process the information that's letting them know they need a nap. Like one of my kids, he's very much like me. He has sensory struggles. And when the more tired he gets, the more hyperactive he becomes. And instead of yelling at him, I recognize this because I was observing. I recognize this. And when I would see him act up, I wouldn't get angry. I would just, hey, you notice how you feel right now? That's your body telling you you're tired. Come sit with me. Let's just sit for a little bit. Let's see where this is coming from. And it got to where he can now regulate himself. It took a while for him to learn it and realize it, realize his own process. But I mean, we started that when he was like 2 years old. So it takes time, but if you invest in yourself, you'll learn about your processes, and it will be something that's very, very beneficial for your own growth. Because now when he's feeling something, he gets real quiet, and I ask him what's wrong, and he's like, I'm just listening to myself. I'm just trying to see what I'm trying to tell myself. I love it. He's my mini-me. Card number 46, Grand Trine, blessings. You are situated in such a powerful emotional and mental space right now. You are being gifted with the opportunity to really see through to the deepness of who and what you are. Utilize this time. Definitely utilize this time to benefit you. Card number 49, heighten your vitality. You are the one creating your environment. You are co-creating it. If the environment that you are co-creating is not in alignment with what you want for yourself, how you envision your journey going, then you have to change your environment. You have to begin shifting and allowing the supporting characters of the movie that is your life to, be other characters. All right. And you have the power to do this. This is not about like, you don't get to hang out with me because you don't meditate like I do. You don't get to hang out with me because you don't believe in this. You don't eat the same things I do. No, it's about recognizing, is this connection challenging me in such a way that is growing me? Or is it challenging the same things about myself that I'm not quite ready to process? I'm not quite ready to cultivate. And we have to recognize that too, okay? Sometimes we can't interact with other people for prolonged periods, not because they're toxic, but because we haven't left our own pool of toxicity. Let that sink in. It's not always someone outside of you that's the toxicity. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's me. I recognize that sometimes it's me that's the toxic one. And when it's me that's the toxic one, I need to just kind of distance myself from everyone and figure myself out so that I can stop being the toxic one. Okay? So really about being very honest with yourself. And I find that a lot of the messages that are being spread, these inspirational things, is really just about pointing the finger at everyone else. Well, when you point the finger at someone, guess what? You got 3 more fingers pointing back at you. You know what I'm saying? So start with inside, start with you, and see how your environment changes, because it will change. It will change. You're the epicenter of the ripples of your creation. So card number 27, fortune. Your fortune will increase. This is about your spiritual abundance. This is about your birthright. And that birthright includes support and love, encouragement, understanding, acceptance. It's more than just monetary. But for some of us, this is absolutely going to lead to monetary abundance as well. Because what happens when you align yourself perfectly between self and soul, all of that abundance from soul can very easily be transferred to self. But here's the thing though, you have to be very careful about not being lulled into complacency, not having your intention of your intention that is encouraging you and inspiring you to shift your energies to be just about the monetary benefits. It's more than that. It's more, you won't have to worry about the monetary if you are aligning your purpose with your life. Okay, if you live a life that honors your purpose, the monetary will just come. It's not something. He does have stubby fingers. You know what they say about stubby fingers? Stubby gloves. But, you know, the music that's played, is that the music of your own heart? Or is that something outside of you that's attempting, like a siren, to distract and sedate? So always be aware of where your awareness is. Ooh, let that sink in. All right, Daddy, you might have to get the paddle. This is the paddle card. I'm going to need you to spank me a lot harder this time. So this card pops up. Card number 13, Power of Attraction. So you are calling to you the very things that you are needing right now, the very types of irritation and agitation. You're calling it all to you right now. Mm-hmm. She be knowing. She took a sip of water too. Ain't no way we're going to dilute this level of sodium, boo-boo. It's ingrained. We just pickled at this point. The level of salt. So really, this is about you recognizing if you are having struggles with this particular area of your spiritual development, you need to have this struggle right now. You are now leveling up and able to tackle much more intense rising of frequency. So for some, Michael said you might want to drink a little bit real quick. I don't know what I was going to say. That was a good tactic. I felt the energy building up. That was a good tactic. So for some, this has a lot to do with processing previous life traumas and dramas with this other person, okay, with this other soul. With this other soul. This other soul is a very deep connection. It's a very, very deep connection. It doesn't, and that's the thing that let me just finish my sentence. I promise I will sip more. That's the thing that agitates me the most is that, or not agitate, irritates me the most is that when you say a deep connection, it's an automatic assumption. Oh, you mean like romantic, like sexual? No, I mean like we've lived so many lives together and we know each other so well on a soul level that it's like the totality of all the types of relationships you could have: parent and child, sibling, best friend, enemy, lover. You know, it's all the relationships you could have ever had, because really you haven't been confined to just a romantic thing every single time you guys incarnate together, and you don't always incarnate together. Okay, so this is a very, very, very profound connection with another soul. And it seems like there's needing to be work done to go ahead and rebalance some of the imbalance that was created in previous lives. And so that's going to be rising up at this point. The opportunity to do that, even just on a soul energetic level, is rising up. And so some of you might be experiencing this like intensity in the chest, especially the high heart. Some of you might be experiencing this. Some of you might be feeling each other if you are in some form of separation. You might not have the luxury of being able to reach out and be like, hey, is something going on? Hey, what's going on? You might have to just process this on your own. Okay. You definitely are having a very elevated connectivity at this point. I'm not even going to say the word. I'm just going to say that this is a very profound soul connection with another soul. They might not even be here in this time-space matrix within a dense body. They might be, still on the other side, free form. For some of us, it's a recognition that we don't need to deal with a physical individual, that what we need to deal with is the unresolved energetic traumas that have accrued over however many lifetimes. For some of us, that's all we have to do. Take time to really process those previous traumas, because those are things that have settled. And remember, that energy is coming through, and it's one that's really shaking everything up. That's a dance. I'm all jiggly and stuff. Okay, focus. So it's causing a lot of really old things to rise up, and these type of past life things that you might not be fully cognitive of. It might just be like a shadow of a wisp of some sort of feeling, and you don't even know what it's about. You have to explore that. Okay, you have to explore that and allow yourself permission to recover those memories. Speaking of memories, that was part of the primary focus of the lunar sound bath that I did, allowing you to feel safe enough to let go of this existence and enter an energetic and mental and emotional state where you are free to explore a lot of your soul's history. And so quite a few people just fell the F to sleep within a few minutes of it starting, and they don't remember. They're like, oh my gosh, I fell asleep. I woke up hours later, or some people even woke up the next day and they're like, what the hell happened? I can't remember anything. Well, you recovered quite a bit of your memories. That's basically what happened. And you're needing time to process this and give yourself permission to receive it into your actual field of awareness. It's already been given back to you, but unless you give yourself permission to fully recall it, it's not going to enter your consciousness. It's going to stay locked in your subconscious. And so this is what's needing to happen now. Giving yourself permission to recover what's already within you. Okay. And I think because quite a few people have been messaging and asking, can I get the recording? And they weren't a part of the live event. I just feel like that event was so sacred for the people who were supposed to be a part of it. What I'll do is I'll just see where I can fit another sound bath into my schedule, and we'll just have a separate type of event for those who want to join. I mean, even if you join the first one, if you want to join the second one as well, all more power to you. But it's about allowing yourself to release your inhibitions, your fear of what you're going to remember, and really letting it in. Because when you do, what ends up happening, Scorpio, I transform. You're going to transform yourself. It's going to... That's so interesting. For whatever reason, I see an EP right there. E and then P. What does that mean? EP. I don't know what that means. EB. Card number 43, love matters. It does matter. It does matter. Allow love to deliver to you the very things that you need, okay? The connections, the releasing, because sometimes the most loving thing you can do is release. Allow that ship to sail. Let it go. Just let it go. Let it go so other ships can enter. Other boats can sail into your awareness, okay? Ooh, that's a message. That's one hell of a message. So the letting go and allowing something new to take its place. For some of these connections, this is what's needing to happen. Let go, okay? The whole label has become shackles around your heart, around your mind. For some of you, it's time to let this go. Let this failed wish fulfillment go. Your soul is going to bring to you something else that's going to help to grow you in a more compassionate way if you allow it. If you allow it. The whole purpose of the twin thing, is to grow you, okay? It's to grow you, help grow you in such a way that no one else could help you with at that time. If you've already done enough growing that you've opened yourself to the lessons that, and it's this visual that I'm being given that the twin arrived with a sledgehammer and broke down all your walls. And so you've just been sitting in a broke down palace, just sitting. For what? They've freed you from your own prison. The breaking down of the constructs that kept you confined. For some of us, for many of us, that's what the twin connection was. Breaking down the walls. But they can't force you to get up and exit that broken down palace. That's something you have to choose to do. If you want to sit there and dwell there, chances are they're not going to ask you to come out. Because that's just not how the truth of love is. The truth of love, the full gravity of omnilove, this is the whole thing of the totality of love, omnilove. It doesn't force you to do anything. It loves you in such a way that frees you to travel or not travel your path as you choose. But if you're going to continue to sit in that broke down palace, that's where you're going to be. You're going to be broke down. Okay, so you have to begin allowing yourself to see the beauty in your rise. And look at that. That's like a phoenix rising from its ashes. This is about you rising from that broke down palace, allowing yourself to finally rise. Sometimes we sit and cripple ourselves because we are so fixated on trying to understand one tiny aspect of a multiple component type machine. And I mean, really, do you need to understand why there is a bolt there? It's just one little bolt in an engine. And it's not even part of the main components. You're going to fixate on that one little bolt that holds on like a cover, something insignificant. You're going to fixate on that. Okay, well, if you're going to fixate on that and you don't maintain the engine, it's probably not going to continue to function for too long. It's probably going to end up seizing up. Okay, and I'm being shown that there is an oil leak in that engine. That oil is the very blood of that engine. It's what provides the lubrication to prevent the seizing up, the breaking down. There's an oil leak, and many of us don't realize we are leaking energy. We're so focused on something that is, it was something that was shown to you. You were made aware of this simply to get you into the freaking engine bay. Let that sink in. What if the twin was the shiny thing that got you? Maybe that twin is just the engine light, the check engine light. And you're so fixated on that check engine light that you're not checking what's going on with the engine. Maybe that's it. Maybe the twin is a 710. Do you remember that, Daddy? The 710 cap? I need to refill the 710 fluid. This is a meme. Anyways, if you're not going to recognize that your engine is needing to be tuned up, that there's an oil leak, you're probably going to damage something, a major component, an internal component. The last thing you want to do is fuck up one of the pistons, or your engine's fucked. It is. It's utterly fucked. You're not going anywhere. Forget the trip. You're out. You're out. Many of us have been burning oil, leaking oil, engines struggling, overheating, and we're just more concerned with like The aesthetics. Oh, I have a new paint job. I got a new interior. Well, okay, that's going to be cute parked in front of your wherever you're going to park it, because that engine's going to seize up. So if the things that you're doing, your spiritual practice is more for the look, more for the aesthetics, and you're not looking at what the engine is actually going on, oftentimes that's what the twin is brought into your life for, to give you a reality check. And I was telling someone the other day, people think, like, all I got to do is find my twin. I'm going to have the most amazing, beautiful, like, relationship. It's going to be a lifelong thing. We'll just love each other forever. And I'm like, people have no idea. This is the most viscerally felt pain. It is the most messiest kind of love. It's like splay you open and let all the insides drop to the floor and look through it. That's how the twin energy works. Just cut you like a Y. Let everything fall out and sort through it on the floor as you cry yourself to sleep. I'm just saying, for a lot of people, that's how it is. That's how it is. And then, you got the soulmate, which has a tendency to be like, how about we just do some diagnostic testing first? Let's do a CAT scan. Let's do some palpitation on the bell. I'm just saying, if y'all want your twin, you go right ahead. There's a reason these two cards are together. Okay. You like this thing, you go ahead. Not all twin relationships are like that, but I'm saying they primarily are. There's exceptions to everything. So card number 43, secrets. This moon, the wolf moon it's ready to spill your secrets, not to other people, but to you. You hold the key. You're the one with those little ass feet and those little ass shoes with that puffy ass skirt, looking all serious with your salty ass pigtails. I'm sorry. Okay, I should not speak to myself. That's me as a child. We ain't joking. No. Really, that's me as a child. All hella serious, acting like I'm growing up all the time, carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. Standing on a stool. That's a lie. I've never had little ass feet. My feet have always been hella big. Better to kick your ass with. Just saying. Watch yourselves. Don't make fun of me. I'm sensitive about my big ass feet. Okay. They come paired up with big ass hands to better slap you with. I'm just saying. Speaking truths. All right. Card number 1, after the storm. Yeah, girl. April, me too. I'm like, I was talking to my soul about this. What was the fucking point of giving me like a 9.5 size foot if I'm only like on the bottom range of 5 foot? What the fuck is that shit? There are women who are like 6 feet tall with the same size foot as me. What was the logic in that shit? Was my growth stunted? Am I supposed to be much taller? What is this about? And then one day Michael got tired of me griping about my feet, and he was like, because it's harder to knock you down. Oh, so this is about a tax. So that's what it is. Okay, that's why I got big ass hands to slap motherfuckers back, because you know what I'm saying? I was just like pissed off. Big ass feet. I'm just saying. If you got a size 6 foot, don't even talk to me with your cute ass self and your cute ass looking shoes and your little tiny ass socks, acting like toe warmers for my tiny ass socks. Sometimes, let me reel it back in. Card number 1, after the storm. So yes, this is like a storm brewing for us, for all of us. Okay. Now, really, it depends on how well prepared you are for the storm. That's going to dictate how uncomfortable the storm will be for you. What is this? Sorry. That light is just... it's so distracting. Okay. So, but no matter how prepared or ill prepared you are, you're definitely going to get through this storm. All of us are. All of us are. Some of us might be disheveled. Some of us might not. It's fine. Card number 26, second house, owning. Not only is this about owning up to, not only is this about owning material things, material possessions, this is also about you owning your actions, your decisions, owning your causations that lead to your effects, okay? Because life really is nothing more than a massive individual and global cause and effect experiment. Let that sink in. Card number 50, potential gateway. The heart is the way home. Okay. The heart is where the sanctuary is. The heart, the heart, the heart. That is where you go through. Do I need to say it again? The heart. Card number 42. Ooh, progression, devolving. Ooh, look at this. 43, 42, 41. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. So card number 42. Inexperience. Due to our inexperience living a human life, because it's really just a perceived inexperience, since pretty much all of us have been living how many lives already? Pretty much all of us have had multiple lives, okay? Multiple lives. And just because you don't remember the details of those lives doesn't mean I'm full of shit and lying, okay? That ain't my fault. You should request for a better memory system. Okay, you need an OS upgrade. I'm just saying, you need more memory, more RAM, whatever the fuck my husband tells me all the time about my phone and my laptop because of the kitty memes. It's not inexperience. The inexperience, the sense of inexperience, has more to do with lack of awareness, lack of willingness to be aware of the things that extend beyond this life, previous to this life. Now, card number 41, home in the sky. That's the secret, okay? Hold on. I'm not that talented. All right, there it goes. So you have okay, I'm covering all the numbers. Card number 43, the secret. Card number 42, inexperience. The secret is that you aren't inexperienced. Card number 41, your home is in the sky. You are an evolved soul, okay? You're an evolved soul. And it's time for you to stop overly believing in this lie that, you're not enough, that you still need to attain some sort of enlightenment, that someone outside of you is a better expert at your life and your journey. No. We are purging all of that this year. All of that is being purged. That's why there is such like shaking up going on in people's relationships, in their lives, their living circumstance, everything. Where are you going? Without me?
Yeah. I'll be real quick.
I'm sorry you guys had to witness that. He gets me giddy. I can't focus now. Now I don't know what the heck I was talking about. He smiled at me. Yes, birthing into who you always were. It's about the deconstruction of this false reality that we have allowed ourselves to be a part of. I happened to stumble across this one video. And it just boggles my mind. I don't understand. I don't understand how people can make things so complex. They come across information and make it complex, and they're like, this is the truth. This is the truth. Everything you've believed in is thus far is a lie, and you're part of a matrix. And, like really thinking that they are promoting sovereignty, sovereign freedom, when in reality, it's really the opposite, just peddling the same fear, but packaged in a different way. Yeah, no, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Okay. We're here right now. We're here right now. Experience this life, because what was being said was like we're shifting from simply a human experience, and there's two earths being born, and which it's true. It's true. There's two separate mindsets that are, remember, I've been talking about spiritual mitosis, the polarization that's occurring and the splitting, and they're like something about, when you bury the body, you trap the soul in the body in the ground with the mother's egg and the father's sperm, and the only way to free is through fire. You have to incinerate. And I'm just like, the fuck are you even talking about? Boo, you got to stop Googling shit, because you're fucking up your own path. You're fucking up your own understanding. You're afraid. And that's sad. That's sad. There's really nothing that you have to be excessively afraid of in this life. Who gives a shit how you're buried? You detach from the body. That's like something ill is going to happen to you if you store your car versus taking it to the junkyard and having it smelted. What? It's a fucking car. Once I release ownership of it, it's not my concern anymore. It's just a car. Just like the body, it's just the body. It's just the body. And all of these other beliefs are rising up to take the place of the beliefs that are being dismantled, because, again, creation doesn't like voids, right? And something will be allowed to take its place. Now, with the way creation functions, it doesn't try and control what takes its place. If you leave a void within your auric field, if you don't consciously choose to fill that with God seed energy, with hydroplasma, which works sort of like an energetic stem cell, then something, can see that, oh, okay, there's a place to occupy. Let me go ahead and fill that in. And that could be a parasitic thing. So it's really about understanding void. Oh, that's what that's about. And that's why you're guiding me to this topic. That's what it is. A new church is rising. So we went from the traditional church, which it has both positive and negative aspects. If you still go to church, if you still are a part of that system, and that's how you connect to your divinity, then continue going. Don't let anyone shame you. Whatever you need to do, whatever you need to participate in, as long as you're not choosing to intentionally harm someone else, participate in it with no shame. If you still need the title of some sort of religious affiliation, keep that title. No one gets to judge you. But it went from that church to science to New Age to now what this is, which is a bastardization of Keylontic science and Cathara. That's why it's a progression. I'm seeing that's why I needed to be exposed to that. Wow, that's some fucked shit. That's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate, because even esoterica is not immune to being bastardized. Like what they did to Jesus' teachings. Everything. At some point, everything outside of you will be utilized by some unseen to further whatever their unknown agenda is. Do you have to be afraid? Why? This is how humanity has existed since humanity was created. So what are you afraid of? When you're so fixated on being afraid of something outside of yourself, you're not taking the time to address the things within yourself. And when you address the things within yourself, that's how you actually free yourself to expand your consciousness. And it's very, very important. You're not allowed to expand and are kept in tidy little track homes, spiritual track homes, because guess what? The moment that you expand, you can never again return to the dimensions that you once occupied. Let that sink in. The moment you experience expansion of consciousness, you cannot return to the limits that you once existed within. Try blowing up a balloon and see if it goes back to its dimensions before you blew it up. There's distortions. It no longer will be that ever again. Ever again. It will never be that again. And that's why it's important. Okay, this house is an elevation of the old house. This is the new plan. It's still not it's still not natural. It's still not natural. Okay, is this naturally where birds live? No, it's not. So that's again part of the secret. That's part of the lullaby. And here's your soul. Can you hear me above the music? Can you hear the truth of me with the music playing so loud? Blue pill or red pill scenario. The truth is there is no pill. That's a lie. You don't need the blue pill or the red pill. When you accept the totality of who and what you are, you're naturally high. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. You know, and this is not to bash people who need the blue pill or the red pill, because sometimes you really do need to supplement for a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. But, and this is my logic. I don't talk about things that I've never experienced, that I haven't actually lived through myself. So because I'm such a sensitive empath, when I was living with someone in my early adulthood, this individual, I was not aware. My roommate was freshly diagnosed as bipolar. So I was pulling in all of their frequency, and I had like a psychotic break. I thought I was crazy. I legit thought I was crazy. And so I went and sought mental health assistance. And because I was pulling in their experiences and living it out in my own life, because I thought they were my feelings, I ended up with a diagnosis of bipolar. And they put me on a cocktail of fucking like, I think 14 pills. By the time I got off the medication, I was like on 14 pills. They maxed out all my dosages for everything. And I still continued to have all of these problematic symptoms, to the point where the psychiatrist was like, I'm not quite understanding what's going on, because you have enough sedation to fully knock out a 300-pound man. And I'm like, I'm still having psychotic episodes. Because I really fully believed in the medical industry. I was training to be a part of it. So it was like, I need medication to correct this. And I came to the realization, in that time, I needed the medication to quiet some of the disharmony, but the medication wasn't actually what would cure me. It was a sitting in stillness. That's why I needed that crutch for a year. I needed that crutch to quiet the hurt, the internal hurt. I also needed to move the fuck out, which I did. And as soon as I moved the fuck out, I stopped having all of those like really insane swings, because my roommate wasn't on medication. I was like, okay. I was trying to medicate someone outside of me by medicating myself. And when I realized the medication wasn't what fixed me, it was me. It was me looking inside myself and recognizing the things that led to the symptom presentation, the root of what this was. And what's crazy, what really cinched it in wasn't immediately. It was years later, several years later. So I was on medication for a year, and then I got pregnant with my oldest son, and I was like, I'm not taking all of this medication pregnant. I don't know what it does. And I got off all the medication, and I stayed off medication for years, like 5 years. And then I got pregnant again with my my second son, and I thought I was going to have a psychotic break again, because I went through postpartum depression with my first. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I went back to the same therapist that I was going to. And I asked her to put me back on medication. And she was like, I see in your chart you're bipolar, but do you mind if we reassess you? And they reassessed me, and she's like, you're not bipolar. And I was like, but I was diagnosed as bipolar. And, she totally was like, I'm so sorry, you were misdiagnosed. Bipolar people don't come in and take preemptive action like this. They don't ask for medication. They never want to take their medication, And so that's the thing. That's the thing. We believe in the pathology so deeply that we fail to realize we have the ability to undo anything that was done. We truly do. We truly, truly do. We have the ability to do that. And it's a journey of a lot of pain and introspection, because if you're afraid to see what's inside, and that was my issue. I was afraid of what I would discover, like what was waiting for me in the shadows. Was it going to be confirmation that I'm a bad person? And it's a whole lifetime journey of me finally giving myself permission to release this question. Am I evil? Is what I'm doing evil? No, girl, you're not fucking evil. Even when people do you so dirty, you don't do anything back. How is that evil? How is that evil? You give and give and give, and you don't expect anything in return. You don't even want people to acknowledge what you give. How is that evil? When have you ever been evil in your entire life? You've been angry. You've been depressed. But when have you been evil? Never. And that's a conversation you guys are probably going to have with yourselves. And I didn't get to that realization until after I addressed my feelings towards the events of my childhood that really implied that type of belief. And you'll see a lot of the things that you struggle through right now, it is tied to things in childhood that need to be observed and acknowledged. Very, very old wounds. These are very old wounds that have not been allowed to heal properly. Is too much? Maybe you're unable to process, because it's never too much. And that's another thing I had to learn for myself. I'm never too much. I'm never not enough. I'm in perfect measure for myself in my journey. And I don't need someone else's permission. I don't need agreement. I don't need permission. I don't need validation. I've lived through what I've lived through, and I give myself permission to take ownership of my life. I'm perfectly me. The only one that needs to validate me in my journey is me. And I have no shame of anything that I've lived through. None. People would be like, oh my God, I can't believe that you're admitting that you were medicated. Fuck yes, I was medicated. Wrongfully medicated for over a year. Should I be angry about that? No, because you know what? It gifted me with such a profound understanding. People are like, how can you be so deep? Because life has tried to drown me my whole life, and I refuse to fucking drown. The deeper you push me, the more I acclimate to that pressure, that depth. And that's a fucking beautiful thing. And I have no apologies for it. And SB, I'm not addressing you in particular, but it definitely inspires me to process out loud, when people comment things, regardless of what their intention is, when they comment what they mean, it triggers certain processes within me, organic processes that help me to share of my truths, because really in real life, I'm a very private person. I would never talk about any of this shit in real life. Like, mm-mm. Yeah, people think that if like they'd want to hang out with me because it'd be so fun. This is how it is in real life. That's how I am in real life. Unless our souls already super know each other, that's how I am in real life. In real life, yeah. It's definitely important you guys realize this. I'm no different than you. And the reason these things come up is because I have released, soul has taken the muzzle off of me. It's just taken the muzzle off of me. And it's time for, I guess, some verbal diarrhea where things just kind of spill out. And that's probably why I exist with no filter, because it's either silence or verbal diarrhea with me. And that, for whatever reason, needs to be. I don't need to understand why I am the way I am. I just need to accept it. I just need to accept it because that's what it is. That's what it is. I serve some kind of function that I don't quite understand, and I don't quite agree with. I'm not quite comfortable with. But whatever I'm feeling about it, it's, it really doesn't matter because I'm the way I am for a purpose. And that purpose really doesn't have to do with my own growth. It has to do with triggering other people's growth. And all I have to do is just be visible and allow myself to be me. That's what I've been being told my whole life. And I've been hiding who I am my whole life. I'll share some old videos when I first started live streaming, and you'll see the difference in who I was then and who I am now. Gosh, the spiritual anorexia was physically present. It really was. It really was. And it's amazing how the body is very representative of the spiritual process. Because then at that point in my journey, there was a lot going on, a lot. Oh, I was so depleted in so many ways. I was going through one of the most massive ascension cycles of my entire life. And I couldn't eat for like 14 days. I couldn't eat. And it wasn't something that I was trying to do. It wasn't. And I was just going through such a massive cycle. And oftentimes when I go through a massive cycle, my desire to eat goes away. And I whittled down to smaller than a size 0. I mean, if you guys don't notice, I have really small boning. I have like toddler fucking wrists. Yeah. And it was bad. My husband said I look like a bobblehead. I was like, fuck you. He goes, your alien is coming out. Because when I get really lean, my eyes get really big. They look really big. He's like, your alien is coming out. Your teeth look hella big. I got big teeth. They don't look hella big. They are big. But yeah, and I recognize right now that I as I embrace more of my path, I will be exposed to more. And it's almost like this need to physically know that I won't be as internally affected. So I have allowed myself to pack on some weight. A good portion of it is muscle mass that I've never had. But, whatever, I just accept myself as I am. I don't feel like I have to lose weight. I don't feel like I have to gain weight. I feel like I kind of just have to flow, allow myself to purge the things that need to be purged, which is what you guys need to do as well. And then just allow yourself to flow. Okay. So this is what the cards are telling us. You have to allow the flow. You have to give yourself the freedom to exist authentically. You have to also begin investing in yourself. Investing time, investing energy. You have to. One of the really best ways to free yourself is to start your own business. Just start it. You'll be guided to whatever it is you're supposed to do. You really will. You'll be guided to it. And then it's going to create such a passion within you. And next thing you know, it's an established thing and it's providing for you. Was it anxiety taking over not eating? No, no. I've had anxiety issues much of my younger life. It wasn't that. It wasn't anxiety. I did as a teen have anorexia, not super bad, but yeah, I was anorexic. It wasn't that either. It wasn't that. Um, it was just weird. I couldn't eat and I didn't need to. When I tried to force myself to eat, I just couldn't. I would vomit it back up, not intentionally, but it would just come back up after the first spoonful. It would make me feel real sick. So sometimes what ends up happening is because the digestive process is one that's pretty complex, to be honest. There's a lot of other processes that occur with digestion. Everything has to be so perfectly coordinated that it takes up much of the energy and focus of your body. When you're going through a massive ascension cycle, it's like digestion is a memory hog app, right? So it bogs everything else down. And what ascension is, especially a massive ascension, it's an operating system overhaul. It's an update. And so all the other apps have to be paused, right? You can still run the other apps if you're using the digestion app. You can still run the other apps, even if you're updating that, the digestion app, you can still play with other apps. But when you're updating the OS, everything gets paused. And I think that's probably, well, at least that's my theory, is that that's why I stopped eating. Yeah, everything does have a cycle. Everything does have a cycle. And if you're going to try and shoehorn yourself into specific schools of thought, where like, okay, I have to eat this way, I have to eat this many times, I have to do this and I have to do that. If it's not in alignment with your body, that's actually a detrimental practice. Physiologically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's a detrimental practice. And I know this because I forced myself to be vegan for 6.5 years. I totally convinced myself that I was somehow spiritually inferior, devolved, and evil if I continued to eat animal products. And I learned the hard way. Some people can sustain veganism. Some people cannot. You have to listen to your body. Veganism is not. It's not just a food preference. You can make it an entire lifestyle where you advocate for all living things. But here's the thing: plants are living as well. They have a consciousness as well. And I didn't figure that out until way later, after I had finally admitted to myself I was making myself very, very sick being a vegan. But yeah, it's you have to listen to your body. If you're fasting and you can't continue the fast, then you have to eat. But if you're trying to force yourself to eat and you can't, you have to stop. You have to stop. It's important for you to at least have water. But if you can't eat, unless there's a medical reason, which you should be seeing your doctor if you think there's a medical reason why you can't eat. But unless you can't eat, then, plants don't have blood. Okay, well, neither do insects. You're determining the validity of a living thing based on blood. That makes no sense to me. That makes no kind of sense to me. Plants have a consciousness. They have a reproductive cycle. They have feminine and masculine. They reproduce. They make babies. Isn't that, counterintuitive? Where your thing is to protect life. If they can reproduce, They're a living thing. They're a part of life. And that was the major issue. The major issue that I had with this logic is that only certain lives are important. If you're going to be a steward, all life is important. All life. Exactly, Stan. Plants respond to negative and positive energy. Everything is living. Right, Marilyn. Everything is living. There are some people who, well, if it doesn't have eyes, then it's okay to eat it. Okay, well, if it can't look at me. Okay. But I thought the reason for the veganism was because all life is sacred. How do they grow conventionally grown plants? They chemically burn them. They modify their genome. They take the babies from the parents. That's what happens when you pick the fruit. Those are the babies. You're tearing them off the parent. I mean, you can apply all of this shit to everything living. Not only do plants hear and see, they're able to form bonds. Science is just barely catching up with this. It's just barely catching up with this. You know, guys, I'm about to go and get real inappropriately triggered. I'm not going to allow myself to do that. I'm not going to allow myself to have that kind of conversation. I'm just not. I'm not going to allow anyone else's beliefs to try and convince me that somehow their personal beliefs are more accurate and more in alignment than my truth for my life. And I'm not going to partake in a cyclical debate. All life is sacred. All life. All life is sacred. And if you have to enforce, if you have to force other people to agree with your stance, you probably don't have as solid a stance as you think you do. This applies for everything. It applies for vaccinations. It applies to religious beliefs. It applies to everything. If what you believe is truth, it is your truth. It doesn't matter who agrees. It doesn't matter who agrees, who disagrees, what the argument is, whatever the science they it doesn't matter. I know what I know. I'm not always right. I do believe that everyone can teach me something about myself. And I think what I'm being taught right now by this conversation that's occurring is to know when to back away, because you don't have to agree. You don't have to accept an invitation to a battle that's a waste of your time. Okay. I don't care if plants have blood or not. I don't care. What I care about is that all living things are respected, that we show gratitude and reverence for everything that adds to our existence. That's all I care about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just saying. You guys, I gotta go. I gotta start my sessions. I shall be on later today. I'm doing expedites. If you missed the opportunity to partake in yesterday's expedites, I will be doing expedites again today. I'm thankful for the people who trigger within me the things that still can be triggered, because it brings my awareness to the parts of myself in my journey that I still need to observe. So I'm thankful for those that are able to trigger within me the things that still can be triggered. I'll just leave it at that. You guys have a beautiful day. I hope you join me later on. Bye.